The first contact. The battlefield was silent, but it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence after chaos, after screams, after fire. Ash floated in the air. Black smoke twisted like snakes in the sky. Broken weapons lay on the ground, steel bent, metal cracked. The earth was burned and scarred, as if it had been punished by the universe itself. Through the smoke, a figure walked. Tall, wide shoulders, armor glowing faint blue. His steps were heavy, each one leaving a mark in the ash. The ground seemed smaller under his weight. He was not human, not even close. This was the alien warrior, feared across 100 worlds. His helmet caught the dying light of the battlefield. His eyes burned like two suns behind dark glass. He carried a blade longer than a man's arm. The blade hummed with strange energy. Every move of the alien carried pride, strength, and hunger for victory. But he was not alone. Ahead of him, standing in the ruins, was one last human. The soldier's body was hurt, blood on his side, dust in his hair. Yet he stood tall, weapon in hand, his breath slow but steady. He looked at the alien, and the alien looked at him. In that moment, the battlefield was not filled with fire. It was filled with silence. The silence of two warriors facing each other. The alien spoke first, his voice deep and heavy. It echoed like thunder in the smoke. "Your last words?" he asked. It was not a question of mercy. It was a promise of death. The alien believed the fight was already over, that the human was only standing because of pride, not power. But the human did not answer. He only tightened his grip on his weapon. His hand shook for a moment, but then it became still. His eyes locked with the alien's eyes. There was no fear, no begging, only fire. The alien tilted his head, curious. He stepped closer, his armor shining in the ashes. Then he laughed, a dark laugh, full of arrogance. "Your grip is weak," he said. His words cut like blades. He wanted to break the human spirit before he broke his body. The human still said nothing. His silence was louder than words. Every second he stood there made the alien more curious. This human should have fallen. This human should have begged. But he did neither. The alien raised his blade. Its energy glowed brighter, humming like a living thing. The light danced on the ground, turning the ash silver. The human's weapon looked smaller, older, almost broken. But in the human's eyes, the weapon was enough. Because it was not just steel. It was his last hope, his last stand, his last promise. The wind blew between them, carrying the smell of fire, carrying the whispers of fallen soldiers. The human could almost hear their voices. Friends, brothers, sisters, all gone. He remembered their faces, their laughter, their courage. He remembered the promise he made to them, to fight till the last breath. His chest rose, his hand tightened again. Pain spread through his body, but he welcomed it. Pain meant he was still alive. Alive meant he could still fight. And fight he would, no matter how impossible the odds. The alien stepped closer again, now only a few steps apart. His shadow fell over the human, a mountain of muscle and armor. The ground seemed to shake with every step. The human felt the weight of that presence. But instead of falling, he stood taller, his body broken, but his spirit unbroken. The alien's blade pointed at him, its glow reflected in the human's eyes. "Say your last words," the alien said again, slower this time. But the human's lips curled into the smallest smile. He did not speak. Instead, he lifted his weapon. The message was clear without words. He was ready. The alien's smile faded. For the first time, doubt touched his heart. This was not how humans usually acted. This one was different. This one did not know fear. Or perhaps he did, but he carried it like a shield. The alien's eyes narrowed. He realized this battle would not be as easy as he thought. The smoke rose higher. The ground burned under their feet. Two warriors faced each other, one with the power of an empire, one with the courage of a single man. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the first strike, waiting for the storm to begin. And in that silence, in that burning battlefield, the legend was about to be written. The legend of a human who refused to bow. A human who would show the universe that sometimes the weakest grip can hold the strongest heart. The challenge. The alien warrior stood still, his massive blade glowing in the smoke. He had faced hundreds of battles, crushed armies, broken kings. But this moment felt strange, different. A single wounded human stood against him, and yet he did not kneel. The alien tilted his head, armor creaking with the sound of shifting metal. His glowing eyes scanned the soldier from head to toe. The cuts, the blood, the shaking arm holding the weapon. It all should have screamed weakness. But there was something hidden behind those eyes. A fire, a flame that refused to die. He laughed again, slow and deep. The sound rolled across the ruins like thunder. "Do you not hear me, human?" the alien asked. "I said your grip is weak." His voice was heavy, proud, a voice used to command. But the soldier's silence pressed back like a wall. Every second of silence was a challenge. A refusal to bow, a refusal to break. The alien took one more step forward. His boots cracked broken stone under him. The ground trembled with his weight. "You hold on to that toy as if it will save you," he said. "Do you not see? One strike from me will end you." He raised the glowing blade high. Its light spread across the battlefield. The human shadow stretched long and thin across the ash. The soldier's hand trembled again. The alien saw it and smiled. "There," he said, pointing with the tip of his weapon. "I see it now, your fear." But he was wrong. The tremble was not fear. It was pain, it was exhaustion. And yet, the hand still held the weapon. That was not fear, it was defiance. The alien lowered his blade again, letting the point rest against the ground. He wanted to savor this moment. He wanted the human to feel small, to feel broken. He wanted him to surrender without a fight. It was a game now, not just a battle. The alien was a predator, circling. The human was his prey. But this prey did not run. This prey stood still, watching, waiting. Finally, the soldier spoke, his voice low but steady. "You talk too much," he said. The words were simple, but they cut like a knife. The alien's smile froze for a second. It had been a long time since anyone spoke to him like that. Most begged, most cried, most screamed. But this human mocked him. The alien's eyes narrowed. His laughter returned, but this time it was shorter, sharper. "Brave words from a broken body," he said. "Do you think courage will protect you? Do you think silence will save you?" The human raised his weapon slightly, pointing it toward the alien's chest. "No," he said, "but it will make you bleed." The alien's smile returned, wider this time. "Good," he said. His voice echoed with hunger. "I was hoping you would fight." The air grew heavy. The ruins around them seemed smaller. The battlefield was no longer about two armies. It was about two warriors. The alien with his empire behind him. The human with nothing but his heart. And yet, in this moment, they stood as equals. The alien lifted his blade again. He swung it once through the air. The sound was sharp, like lightning tearing the sky. The human's eyes followed the movement. He knew the power behind that swing. He knew his body could break in one strike. But he also knew one truth. If he could survive the first blow, he had a chance. The alien pointed the blade at him again. "Come, human," he said. "Show me your strength. Show me how long a weak grip can hold." The human shifted his stance. His legs felt heavy, but he forced them steady. His chest burned with every breath. But he forced the pain down. Pain did not matter now. What mattered was the next move. What mattered was showing the alien that humanity was not weak. For a moment, the world was silent again. The fires burned, the smoke rose. But between them, there was only focus. The alien waiting to crush, the human waiting to strike. It was a challenge not just of strength, but of will, of spirit. And in that silence, the real battle had already begun. Flashback of fire. The human soldier tightened his grip on the weapon. The alien warrior stood only a few steps away, waiting. But for a moment, the battlefield around him seemed to fade. The smoke, the fire, the broken ground gone. Instead, he saw something else. Memories, sharp, and painful, flooding into his mind like fire. He saw the training field, years ago, a younger version of himself, weak and thin, falling to the ground again and again. Other soldiers laughed, voices cutting deeper than blades. "You will never last," they said. "You are too small, too weak, too slow." Each word felt heavier than armor. Each failure carved doubt into his heart. He remembered lying on the ground, chest burning, vision blurry. But he had whispered to himself, "Not yet, I will stand again." And he had every single time. His body broke, but his spirit never did. The vision shifted. He saw the battlefield of the past, the faces of his friends, the brothers and sisters who had stood beside him. They had laughed with him, shared food, shared hope. Now their voices echoed like ghosts in his head. Their smiles flickered like dying light. He saw them fall, one after another. He heard their cries, their silence. The memory stabbed him deeper than any alien blade could. Back in the present, the alien warrior tilted his head. He saw the human's eyes flicker. He thought it was fear, but it was memory turning into fire. The soldier clenched his jaw. His hand still hurt, still shook, but his grip no longer felt weak, because in his heart, he was not alone. Every friend, every comrade, every fallen soul stood with him. Their strength flowed into him like a storm. He remembered the night before the last mission. The firelight, the sound of laughter. One of his comrades had said, "If we fall, let someone carry our fight. Let someone remind the stars that humanity never bows." Those words burned in his chest even now. He could not let them fade. He would be the one to carry them, even if it cost his last breath. The alien took one step closer. The ground cracked, the ash lifted. "You look lost in thought," the alien said. "Are you ready to die in silence?" But the human silence was no longer empty. It was heavy with memory. It was sharp with promise. For a moment, the battlefield twisted again in his eyes. He saw the training ground one more time, but this time he was not falling. He was standing. He was holding his weapon, and he heard the voices of those who doubted him fade into nothing. In their place, he heard only one voice, his own. "I will fight till my last breath." The present returned. The alien's eyes glowed brighter. His blade hummed, impatient for blood. But the human no longer looked broken. His body still weak, yes, but his spirit stood taller than the alien shadow. The soldier raised his weapon higher. His arm hurt, but he ignored the pain. His chest burned, but he welcomed it, because pain meant he was alive, and alive meant he could still fight. The fire of his past now burned in his eyes, and the alien saw it. For the first time, he saw not weakness, but something more dangerous. Unbreakable will. The alien's smile faded. He lifted his blade again. "I will enjoy crushing you," he said, but even his voice sounded less certain. The human silence pressed against him like a storm, a silence filled with ghosts, filled with promises, filled with fire. The human whispered at last, words soft but sharp as steel, "You will not break me." And in that moment, the alien warrior felt something strange. Not fear. He was too proud for fear. But respect, a respect he had not given to any human before. The battlefield burned. The air grew heavy. The clash was coming. But now it was no longer just alien versus human. It was empire versus memory. It was power versus promise. And the human stood tall, carrying more than his own life in his hands. The flashbacks faded. The present returned fully. The alien leaned forward. The human steadied his weapon. And in the silence before the storm, the universe seemed to watch, waiting for the spark that would decide everything. The clash of blades. The alien warrior moved first. One sudden step forward. The ground cracked under his weight. His blade came down in a flash of blue light. The sound cut the silence like thunder. The human lifted his weapon. Steel met alien energy. The clash rang out, sharp and heavy. Sparks exploded into the smoke. The impact shook his arms. Pain raced through his bones. But his grip held. The alien pushed harder. His strength was like a mountain falling. The human's knees bent. His boots sank into the ash. For a moment, it seemed he would break, but then he twisted his blade just enough. The alien strike slid off. The human stumbled back, but he was still standing. The alien's eyes narrowed. He had expected the fight to end in one blow. Yet this human had blocked it, and not by luck, by skill. The alien swung again. Faster, harder. His blade hummed like a storm. The air itself seemed to burn around it. The human ducked. The edge of the alien's weapon sliced the air above his head. He rolled to the side, ash clouding his vision. The heat of the alien's blade kissed his cheek. Close, too close. But he lived. He came up on one knee, raised his weapon, struck forward with a desperate thrust. The alien tilted his body. The thrust only scratched his armor. Sparks flew, but for the first time, the alien felt the sting of steel. He looked down at the mark on his chest plate, a small scar, meaningless. Yet it made him pause. He growled low, "You bleed me." His voice rumbled like an earthquake. "You dare bleed me?" The human said nothing. He just stood, chest heaving, weapon steady again. That silence was louder than any battle cry. The alien charged, every step heavy as thunder. His blade moved in wide arcs, each strike fast enough to kill. The human blocked one, dodged another, rolled onto the third, but the fourth clipped his shoulder. The pain burned white through his body. He gasped, nearly dropped his weapon. Blood ran down his arm, but he gritted his teeth. His hand did not let go. The alien roared. The battlefield shook with the sound. "You are nothing," he shouted. He swung again, but this time the human moved first. He stepped inside the swing, his smaller frame slipping past the wide arc. His blade slashed across the alien's side. Sparks flew again. The alien staggered one step back. It was small damage, but it was enough. The alien now knew this human was not prey. He was a rival, a warrior. Their blades clashed again, steel and energy meeting in a storm of sparks. Each strike echoed across the ruins. Clang, hiss, roar. The sound became music, the rhythm of battle. The alien pressed forward, his strikes heavy and endless. The human gave ground, step by step. Every block sent pain through his arms. Every dodge stole more breath from his lungs. His vision blurred, but his focus stayed sharp. One mistake, and he would die. One mistake, and humanity would fall with him. The alien raised his blade high, brought it down like a falling star. The human caught it with both hands. The ground cracked under the force. Ash flew into the air. The alien pushed down. The human's legs shook. His arms screamed in pain, but he pushed back, slowly, inch by inch. The blade stopped. For the first time, the alien's strength did not crush him. The alien's eyes widened. For a heartbeat, he saw the truth. This human was not weak. This human was dangerous. The human grit his teeth. His voice broke the silence at last. "Your grip," he said. He pushed harder. Sparks burned between their blades. "Is weak." The alien roared with fury. He shoved the human back. Both warriors stumbled apart. Breathing hard, blades raised again. The fight was far from over. Around them, the battlefield burned. Ash fell like snow. The air was thick with smoke and blood. But the clash of two warriors lit the ruins brighter than fire. Every move, every strike, every breath. The duel became legend. And though the alien strength was great, the human's will was greater. The battle had only just begun. Words had cut. The air still shook from the last clash. Ash drifted slowly back to the ground. The alien warrior and the human soldier stood apart, both breathing heavy, both weapons ready. For a moment, neither moved, only their eyes locked. And in that silence, words became sharper than steel. The alien's chest rose and fell. His blade glowed faint in the smoke. He stared at the cut on his armor. It was small, almost nothing, yet it burned in his pride like fire. He lifted his head, eyes burning brighter. He growled, voice like thunder. "You should be dead by now." The human wiped blood from his mouth. His arms still shook from the weight of the last strike. His body felt broken, but his spirit stood taller than ever. He met the alien's gaze without fear. Maybe, he said, his voice calm. But not today. The alien's eyes narrowed. The words echoed in the smoke. Not today. The human's tone carried no desperation, only certainty. It was not the answer of prey. It was the voice of a warrior. The alien stepped forward, blade scraping against the ground. You think courage will save you, he said. You think fire in your eyes can stop me? His voice grew louder. I have crushed armies. I have burned cities. I have broken kings with my hands. He raised his blade high. I am strength itself, and you are nothing but dust. The human's grip tightened. He lifted his weapon, his face calm, his eyes sharp. Then why, he asked. Do you bleed? The words landed like a strike. The alien froze just for a heartbeat. He remembered the scratch on his armor, the sting on his side. It was nothing, yet it was everything. For centuries, humans had been prey, but this one had cut him. This one had stood tall where others had fallen. He growled louder. You dare mock me? The human shook his head. No, he said. I dare remind you. You can bleed. You can fall. The alien's laugh returned. Dark, heavy, echoing in the ruins. You speak as if words are blades, he said. But words cannot cut me. The human stepped forward, blood running down his arm. His body weak, his voice steady. They already have. The alien's laughter cracked for a moment. It turned into a growl. His grip on the blade tightened. His pride burned hotter than fire. This human had not only wounded his body, he had wounded his honor. And that was worse. The alien's voice thundered again. You are a fool. Do you not see the truth? Your kind is weak. Your cities fall. Your people run. You cannot win. Not here. Not anywhere. The human's reply came quick, sharp as lightning. Maybe, he said, but when we fall, we rise again. His eyes blazed. That is why you fear us. The alien took a slow step back, not retreating but reassessing. This human was different. He carried something more dangerous than weapons. He carried faith. Faith in himself. Faith in his people. Faith that burned brighter than fire. The alien pointed his blade at the human. You think your words make you strong, but they will not save you from this blade. The human lifted his weapon higher. They don't have to, he said. They only have to remind me. Why fight? For a moment, the ruins were silent again, the air heavy with tension. Two warriors, two voices. One spoke with power, the other with conviction. And in that silence, the human's words cut deeper than any strike. The alien's eyes narrowed further. He felt something he had not felt in centuries. Not fear, not yet, but doubt. And that doubt was dangerous. The human took a slow step forward, his weapon steady, his voice sharp. You call me weak, he said. You mock my grip, my body, my people. He raised his chin. But you are the one afraid. Afraid of the truth. That one human can stand against you. The alien roared. The battlefield shook with the sound. He raised his blade high. The ground cracked under his feet. Enough, he thundered. No more words. Only death. The human raised his weapon. His voice calm, steady, unshaken. Then come, he said. Let's see who falls. The smoke swirled between them. The fire burned hotter. And as they stepped closer again, it was no longer just a battle of blades. It was a battle of wills. A battle of words that cut deeper than steel. The turning point. The alien warrior roared again. The battlefield shook under the sound. He raised his glowing blade high. The ground cracked as he stepped forward. Every part of him was fury. Every move was destruction. The human soldier braced himself. His chest burned, blood dripped from his wounds. Every breath felt heavy, but his eyes were still sharp. He knew the storm was coming, and he knew he had to survive it. The alien swung down. The blade cut the air like lightning. The human raised his weapon. The clash rang out. The impact shook his arms. He slid back across the ash. His boots left trails in the dirt. But he did not fall. The alien pressed harder. His strength was endless. The human's arms trembled. His body screamed to give up. But then, in his mind, he heard voices. The voices of his fallen friends. He saw their faces flash before him. Not in sadness, but in fire. Stand, One voice whispered. Fight, another called. For us, they all said. The memory hit him like a wave. He grit his teeth, and instead of breaking, he pushed back. The alien's eyes widened. The human's arms stopped shaking. His grip grew tighter. The weak soldier, the one who should have fallen long ago, was pushing against him. Sklau, in being. The alien felt his blade force back. The alien growled. What are you? He demanded. The human's voice came calm. I'm every friend you killed, every city you burned, every voice you tried to silence. His words were low but heavy. They live in me. The alien's fury twisted into something else. Something colder, doubt. He had crushed many foes before, but none had spoken like this. None had stood like this. He told himself the human was weak, but his heart whispered another truth. This human was dangerous. The human's weapon sparked brighter against the alien's blade. His body still hurt, but his spirit burned hotter than fire. He remembered the promise he made long ago, to fight till my last breath. And now, that promise gave him strength. With a sudden cry, he shoved the alien's blade aside. The clash exploded sparks into the smoke. The human stepped forward. His own blade slashed across the alien's chest. The sound rang out, metal tearing. The alien staggered back one step. For the first time, blood touched his armor. The alien looked down, red against the blue glow. He touched the mark with his hand. He stared at the blood. It was small, but it was real. And in that moment, he felt something he had not felt in centuries. Not pride, not power, but fear. The human lifted his blade, his voice steady though his body shook. Your grip is weak, he said, reversing the taunt, throwing it back like a blade. The alien's eyes blazed with fury, but deep inside, the words cut deeper than steel. The battlefield around them burned. Ash fell like snow. The smoke swirled like ghosts. But the true storm was between them. The human had changed. He was no longer prey, no longer weak. He was the turning point, the spark that could shift the balance. The alien roared again, but this time his voice carried something else. Not only rage, but desperation. He knew now, this human could not be crushed like the others. This human had something no blade could kill, something no empire could break. Will. The human's chest rose and fell, his body ready to collapse. But his eyes burned bright. He whispered to himself, for them, for all of them. And he stepped forward, one more step into the fire, one more step into the legend. The alien tightened his grip. His blade hummed louder. But for the first time, his hand trembled. Not much, but enough. Enough to show the truth. His grip was no longer certain. And the universe seemed to pause. The fire held still. The smoke froze in the air, as if everything watched, everything waited, for the final storm to begin. The final blow. The battlefield burned. Flames licked the ruins. Ash rained from the sky. The alien warrior stood tall, his glowing blade in hand. But his eyes carried something new, doubt. And across from him, the human soldier stood, bloodied, broken. Yet his eyes burned brighter than fire. The silence between them was heavy. Every second stretched like eternity. The alien raised his blade. The glow brighter, humming louder. It was the weapon of a conqueror, the weapon that had ended countless lives. But now, as he gripped it tight, his hands trembled, even if only slightly. The human lifted his weapon too. The steel was cracked, his hand covered in blood. But he held it steady. It was more than a weapon now. It was his promise, his memory, his defiance. And with it, he would finish this fight. The alien's voice thundered through the smoke. This ends now. The human's reply came quiet, steady. Yes, he said, for you. They moved at the same time. The alien charged forward, every step shaking the ground. His blade swung down with the force of a falling star. The human ran too, every step fueled by pain, memory, and fire. His weapon ready, his heart unshaken. The clash came. Steel and energy exploded into light. The sound tore through the ruins. A shockwave rippled across the battlefield. For a moment, it was impossible to see who would fall. The alien pushed down, his blade roaring with power. The human's arms trembled. The weight pressed on him like a mountain. But then, he remembered the voices, the faces of his fallen comrades, their courage, their laughter, their sacrifice, and their words, stand, fight, rise again. Strength surged through him. His scream ripped through the smoke. He shoved the alien's blade aside. The force shook both warriors. The alien staggered back a step, eyes wide in disbelief. The human did not stop. He stepped forward, his blade flashing. One strike cut across the alien's arm. The glowing weapon dropped to the ground. Its hum faded into silence. The alien gasped. His eyes blazed with rage. But his strength faltered. He reached for the human with bare hands. Massive claw, desperate. But the human was faster. With a final cry, he drove his blade forward, straight into the alien's chest. The sound echoed like thunder. The glow in the alien's eyes flickered. His roar turned into a gasp. He fell to his knees. The ground shook as his body hit the dirt. The human stood over him, weapon buried deep, chest heaving, blood dripping. But his eyes locked on the aliens. The conqueror who had mocked him. The warrior who had said, "Your grip is weak." Now the alien's hand shook. His strength drained away. His voice cracked. How can this be?" The human leaned close. His whisper soft, but sharp as steel. "For humanity," he said, and then he pulled the blade free. The alien collapsed, his body heavy as stone, his eyes dimmed. For the first time in centuries, he knew defeat. He knew weakness. He knew the taste of his own last words. The battlefield grew silent. The flames burned softer. The smoke drifted higher. The human soldier stood alone, his body broken, his weapon cracked. But he stood tall, a single man against an empire. And he had won. He looked at the sky. The stars above seemed brighter. For a moment, he thought he saw the faces of his comrades. Smiling proud, he whispered to them, "It's done." His voice broke, but it carried strength. I kept the promise. The wind blew across the ruins, carrying his words like a message to the stars. And in that moment, the legend of the human soldier was born, a story that would be told across worlds. The tale of the day: one human stood against the strongest alien and proved that even the weakest grip could hold the strongest heart.